Episode number 6, we have Tucker Ferwerda on this podcast. He's a Facebook ads expert. He shares a 5-step Facebook ad formula that's going to help your ads perform and you're going to get better results. So I'm super excited to have Tucker on this show, so let's dive in. What's up, guys? Today I got Tucker Ferwerda on this podcast. Tucker, tell us a little backstory of you and how you got into online marketing.
Hey, yes, thank you, Taylor, for having me. I really appreciate this episode, this conversation, this everything, honestly. So, yes, backstory. So I used to actually do manual labor. I was a warehouse guy. I was a construction dude. And so what ended up happening was I didn't like it. I didn't want to continue my life working, getting paid for my brawn instead of my brain, because I just knew that I was worth way more than just, construction labor. I could offer more with my brain instead of just like my muscles. So what I was doing in the day, I was just doing, that type of work. And so ever since then, give it about like 4 years or so, I just really started diving into the online marketing space. And ever since then, I've literally just put in like every single waking hour of my day into digital marketing. And now I am just doing, personally, I'm very blessed to be doing and working with a lot of the people that I'm working with right now. Anything from like helping some of the number one agencies, some of the number one agencies for digital marketing when it comes down to Google Ads, when it comes down to Facebook, working with millionaires, getting, on Entrepreneur, to be a writer, contributor. And yeah, just things are so cool right now. And I'm very blessed and looking forward for the future.
That's awesome, man. That's a good little story, in the work grind and got into digital marketing. I really like that story. So, you talked about, you do Facebook ads, you do Google ads. Like what do you define yourself as an expert in?
So it's Facebook ads for sure. Facebook ads and funnels, that's my main jam. I love Facebook. I've tried a lot of other platforms, and for some reason Facebook I am more attracted to Facebook in the way it is set up kind of as like the hybrid of platforms, because you've got Instagram, which is more for, images, which is now it's actually becoming more towards like videos now. And then you got like Pinterest, which is more geared towards images as well. But Facebook in general is geared towards more information, and then also it's the hybrid, so it's great for also, videos and images and everything in between, so it's amazing.
That's awesome, man. Yeah, I've had some great success on Facebook too. I'm fully sold on Facebook. Instagram, it's there too, but definitely Facebook overall has been my has been my bread and butter too. So let's go over some like simple tips and tricks with Facebook ads that you could share with the audience. Like what are some simple, guidelines that you should follow when running Facebook ads?
Cool. So there's actually, what's the first, people usually have thoughts, right? They usually have these thoughts that like, hey, I want to grow a business, or hey, I want to scale my business, or hey, I want to, generate leads or whatever. And for the most part, people start thinking about, okay, where can I get these things that I'm looking for? Their first thought is what? It's Facebook. It's like, hey, I want to do Facebook ads because I know there's a ton of people who are absolutely crushing it. But there's actually a 5-step formula that I follow with every single niche and every single client, and even for myself, that absolutely crushes it. And it's because we do things from basically we just start things from where they need to be started with the foundations, and then we scale into that. So basically, I always start with research, both from a customer and a competitor side of things. Facebook ads is actually step 4. That's step 4, and we'll get into that here in a sec. Step number 2 is create the offer, whether it's free or paid. After you do the customer research, create the offer from the customer research. Then what you do is you create the funnel. So you have to package that offer somehow into something. So you create the funnel. And then after that, then actually step number 4 is where you run traffic, is where you run the Facebook ads, you run the Google ads, you run everything else. That's where you focus on getting eyeballs on your products or services. And then after that, after step number 4, step number 5 is always scale. And sadly, most businesses never reach that scale point because they're still working on steps 1, 2, 3, 4, and then obviously 5. So to help out with this, if you have a step, if you're stuck somewhere, let's just say you are stuck with Facebook ads, which is obviously step number 4. You're stuck on traffic. That's because steps number 1, 2, 3 were not properly worked out. They were not worked on enough. So whatever step that you're on, always take a step back. So obviously, if your Facebook ads are not working, then it's because your funnel needs work. If your funnel isn't working, that's because you didn't create the right offer. If you didn't create the right offer, that means step number 1 wasn't completed thoroughly, which means you were not asking your customers enough questions, getting enough feedback, and then creating them a solution that they can then use to solve their problems.
That's awesome, man. I really like that little 5-step funnel that you've created. I can definitely, I have different rules that go into place as well, but definitely, that's a great funnel step process that you've developed. So I think that's great for the users. It's something they can really go into and really follow that step that you have created. So thank you for sharing that, man.
Yeah, you're welcome.
So next thing I want to dive into is, what's a marketing campaign that's actually failed you? Because I know I've ran a lot of campaigns and I've had some successes and I've also had some failures. So what are some of those failures, that you're willing to share?
So I actually have one, and it was for a book. It was called You Plus Them Equals Job, because back in the day, I was really good at getting jobs. I was really good at just getting jobs through my network. And so I'm like, hey, cool. I'm sure there are a lot of other people struggle with getting jobs. So why don't I go and create a book that helps people get jobs through networking and through their connections and, immediate warm circle. So I created this book. I spent literally so much time on this book. I spent so much time on, writing the book, and then so much time editing the book, and so much money doing this, and just everything, putting it together, then doing videos, and then trying to crowdfund it on Indiegogo, right? And so I did the launch, and I probably got like one sale, and it wasn't even through my marketing efforts. It was mainly through, again, one of my connections that I had here locally. So that right there was one of the main pivoting points in my life where I was like, okay, why didn't this stupid book sell? And then I started noticing that a lot of other people have those same questions, like, hey, why didn't this work? And they think it's this like the platform at fault, and it's really not the platform at fault. It's really the systems that you have in place and the proper steps that you need to take before you even consider marketing.
Awesome, man. Yeah, those are good little tips and tricks. So overall, what was your takeaway from this failure? How did you take from this failure and apply it into your current campaigns? What are some of the things you learned?
So, I mean, exactly what my 5-step process is. I mean, there's so many different steps, and just with marketing, basically everything has to be done right the first time. The only way to get things done and right the first time is by doing your due diligence beforehand, before you even start putting people's eyeballs on all of your products and services. That's really the only way you can do it. You can try stuff, you can test stuff for sure, but in order to set yourself up for success, you can complete 95% of the work up front and basically know how much money you're going to make from a marketing effort by doing the proper steps in between before you even get there.
Awesome, man. I really like that. The first time is the right time.
Yes.
Amen to that. So thank you for sharing that. So diving into the next thing, for me, I basically had a little marketing experience that kind of put a fire in me. Essentially it was I love online marketing. So what was that little first little success story where you're like, I love this thing?
Yeah. So, I don't know if your audience has heard of Fiverr. I'm sure they have, but you've heard of Fiverr, right?
Yeah, I've heard of Fiverr.
Fiverr.com. Cool. Yep. So my dad actually kind of started me on this whole digital marketing entrepreneurial journey, but I've also had just in Tucker's 6-year-old journal, I actually found a journal entry that said, I want to be a millionaire when I grow up, and it hasn't left my mind. It hasn't left my mind since. So, I mean, I guess you can say the first marketing campaign was, back in the day when I was literally 10 years old, and I would take I would take garbage cans to the street for people, and then bring them back the next day. And I charged way too low. Honestly, I was like 25, 50 cents, and I should have been charging like $2, maybe even $5 just to do it. So anyway, but one of my first successes when it came down to digital marketing was on Fiverr, and I found a book. I found a book on ClickBank. I was trying to make affiliate cash, and I was like, okay, this looks kind of cool. People are on Fiverr. And so I sent people, I literally spammed everyone's inbox on Fiverr. And I sent people this book. I was like, hey, I found this book. You thought you might be interested. It's how to make $5,000 a month on Fiverr. And I just like showed them this book, and I actually got some sales, but I also got my account shut down because people flagged my account. So I had to go and create another one. But that was like one of my first tastes of like, wow, I can actually make this work. And then I started like just diving in more and more and more. And then I started noticing that like everything that I would do, it always came back to running digital marketing campaigns and doing digital marketing services for other people, whether it was WordPress, whether it was, Facebook, whatever. It was mainly WordPress back in the day. And then I just, started evolving over time. But I just started noticing that like, wow, I'm really good at doing stuff for people and getting paid. So that's kind of been my main, just my main focus. So that's evolved also into coaching, consulting, done for you, done with you programs and services, right? So that was mainly my first success when it came down to marketing campaigns.
That's awesome. I love that story. So unique. Everyone else is like, I turned on Facebook ads, got a conversion, and I was pumped. And yours is like, I emailed everyone on Fiverr and got my account shut down, but I saw I made money. So
yes, and I knew it was possible.
That's awesome, man. So next step, man, what's your grand slam? This for me, my story was like, holy cow, I really know like these processes, and I really know how to make a company scale and grow online. So what was your grand slam for success?
Cool. Yeah, perfect question. I love this, and I'm going to take it to the moon. So as of right now...
Take it farther, man. Take it to Pluto.
I'm going to take it to the freaking sun. Okay, so my biggest grand slam for digital marketing success actually happened this year, a little bit towards last year, but again, it started this year. So I joined this guy's consulting program because I wanted to actually take part in his name's Kimanzi Constable. He is a Fortune 500 consultant, and his main bread and butter basically is by helping teach and consult for large Fortune 500 companies. So I'm like, all right, cool. So anyway, I ended up taking his course just because, consulting is something that I really want to dive into and keep diving into, and just, getting paid for my knowledge, and then, charge higher prices and higher premiums for my current services that I offer. So, right, I joined his course. I'm now an entrepreneur. He helped me with my large publications, my foundation, etc. And so I saw his foundations. I looked, he helped me with my writing and consulting foundations, but I looked at his foundations and I was like, dude, you need to be running Facebook ads. Dude, you need to be, launching funnels, using ClickFunnels to sell all your programs and services. There was a little kickback, and he's like, no, like, I don't think this is for me. Like, I'm good. I was like, all right. So we continued forward, right? We were just establishing this amazing relationship. Like I'm doing him favors. He's doing me favors. We're both benefiting. And I like to call him like my strategic partner. Not really like a mentor or coach to say, but like I bring stuff to the table for him, and he brings stuff to the table for me. And it is amazing, like an amazing just business relationship. And so he reached out to me and he's like, dude, okay, I want to do ClickFunnels. And I'm like, all right, cool. So I signed him up, got him all set up, helped him out, helped him with headlines, helped him with copy, helped him with, the little things on the back end that a lot of people don't know. And so anyway, fast forward, he has now made, in about 5 months, he started this year in March, and he's made just in ClickFunnels alone, almost, I think probably more now, probably like, anyway, whatever. But last time we chatted, he's made now $300,000 just from his funnel, all from organic audiences. So from his large publications, from his Facebook feed, from his email list, etc. So because we were able to transfer all of his stuff from like WordPress and using a Square account, we now integrated everything inside of ClickFunnels, and now he's made tons more money just because he now has a working system in place. And so this time next year, our goal is to actually help him make 7 figures with his funnels. And then I'm sure but Russell Brunson has his 2 Comma Club award, and so my goal is to get him the 2 Comma Club award by this time next year. So really pumped, really exciting. And then I've just got more clients that are basically asking me for the same stuff. So we're just putting our heads together, making it happen. And yeah, I want to have, my goal is to have 100 people working for me, or at least not working for me, but 100 people that I've helped earn 7 figures with their marketing efforts. So really cool times, really exciting, and it's only up from here.
That's awesome, dude. That is gives me goosebumps just hearing about that story, dude.
Cool, huh?
That's awesome that you have been able to do that. So what were some of the successes, would you say, or takeaways from this Grand Slam that people need to apply in their marketing strategies?
Really, I mean, gosh, I'm a thinker. I'm an analyzer. I analyze and think about everything and just come up with game plans right on the spot, right? So what I've noticed is that every single piece has to be put together in a very strategic way to then basically plan and absolutely crush out your future. What do I mean by that, Tuck? You're speaking in metaphors. Well, thanks for asking. You really need to dial in your message. You need to dial in your audience. You need to dial in who you're trying to serve. You need to dial in your offers. You need to dial in your products and services. You need to dial in your headlines, your copy, your sales programs. You need to dial in your back end. You need to dial in your emails. Literally, once everything is flowing the right way, you can literally fire everyone on your team, live the lifestyle of your dream. I mean, don't do that. Don't be stupid, right? But literally, you can go and just create something amazing. Whether you're a solopreneur, whether you're a startup, whether you're a Fortune 500, even 100 company, right? You can go and just crush out so many cool things once you have your systems in place. And I'm just making sure that everyone's doing the right steps at the right times in the right moments so that they can expect and taste those similar results as well.
That's awesome, man. Great takeaways on that. I really like how you talked about building out your audiences and really getting to know your audiences. I think a lot of people don't do enough research when setting up campaigns. Yes. They just press play and go, yes. Why didn't these work? I
can literally speak right now for 2 hours on customer research alone, and that's not even including competitor research.
Gotcha. That's awesome, man. Maybe I'll have to bring you back on the show and we'll talk more about that too.
I'd be more than happy to do so.
Cool, man. So was there any failures during that Grand Slam for success?
Oh yeah, I mean, people get so frustrated with when they get a hangnail, and it's dude, that's just part of life. Get a hangnail, get over it, GOMO, right? Get over it, move on. And so a lot of people, they give up too early. I think just a lot of people they experience these failures and then they just overhype it. We went through this email isn't sending, or hey, people aren't getting this cheat sheet, or hey, this funnel broke. But really just see that as a growing, an opportunity for growth. Just see it as okay, cool. How do we fix this problem? Take out the emotion a little bit, put more into I'm going to absolutely crush this thing right now, and I don't care what gets in my way. So if you do that, things just go so much easier. So there were a few hiccups, as there is with anything, just expected in life, but we were able to get over them. And continue making him 7 figures.
That's awesome. That's so cool, man. Yeah, no, definitely you got to get over those humps when those failures come. Yes. I can say my Grand Slam also, same story. There was failures at the beginning and it turned into a huge success. So cool. Thank you for sharing that as well. So let's dive into the speed round here, man. So let's be a little real here. What do you do for fun, man? You can't just be setting up funnels all day, every day.
I literally eat funnels for breakfast. I don't do anything for fun. As you can tell from my personality, I am not a fun guy whatsoever. But no, just kidding. So I love chocolate. I love pizza. I probably have more pizza and chocolate flowing through my veins than water. I love my family. We have a 1-year-old. I have a great wife. I just love helping people. I love traveling. I love going places. I love cars. I love just like experiencing and doing things, whether it's, like out. I just love travel. Okay. I'm just like helping people do this. Like I really do have a lot of fun doing what I do, and I absolutely love it. So it's cool that I get to get paid for something that I absolutely love and then help change people's lives. Like those are like my main things right there.
That's awesome, man. I really like that. So any updates in the industry? I know there's been always changes in Facebook, YouTube, like across the board. Is there any updates that come to your mind that our audience needs to know about?
Yeah, so by the time your audience listens to this podcast episode, what I tell you right now will have changed. So just keep that in mind. But yeah, things are always changing in Facebook and just all these platforms. They're just making it like Facebook, for instance. They're now rolling out different things. You can do actually competitor and customer research by clicking on people's pages. I don't know if you saw that recent update.
Yep, the info and ad.
Exactly. Yep, you can now check the info and ads, literally funnel hack any type of page who is running traffic right now and just see what they're selling, how they're selling, and why they're being so successful. Or you can go and get, contact your like future clients and be like, yo, I noticed you're running this kind of ad. Personally, from my experience, we were able to run this type of ad and it worked and it generated these kinds of results. So that's probably been like one of my favorite features so far with Facebook. Facebook is just like a machine altogether. I call it like the artificial intelligence of the internet, just because that's basically what it is. And I know a lot of people, they're like, oh, like I can't stand Facebook, or oh, I'm deleting my account. And I'm like, dude, Facebook has made me thousands of dollars, so I don't know what you're talking about.
Amen to that one. So what's like your favorite marketing book, man?
Oh gosh. I love .com and Expert Secrets. So .com Secrets, Expert Secrets by Russell Brunson. Those are some of the best foundational books on like what you need to sell and how you need to sell it.
That's awesome. I have read both of those, so I can definitely say amen, brother.
Yeah.
It's actually a goal of mine to get Russell Brunson on this podcast somehow. I don't know how, but I'm going to get him on here.
Hey, like do your thing. I'm sure you can do it. So just a side note tangent. I actually interviewed Neil Patel, and I just emailed him and he said, yeah, let's do it. We did it the next week. I was so scared and literally shaking in my boots. But just send people emails and keep sending them emails and they'll get back to you.
That's awesome, man. Good advice. Favorite thing about online marketing?
Results. Hands down, all the way. Being able to say, I did this, which equaled this.
Amen to that one. Nothing better than a conversion.
Right?
So your favorite online marketing podcast or favorite marketing podcast?
This one.
You're the first guy that said it, man.
Woohoo!
Hallelujah.
There you go. Cool. So yes, favorite podcast, I would say, marketing podcast. I like Russell Brunson's. His is cool. I actually stopped listening to podcasts for a while just because of all of the information overload. So I actually more listen to things when I need it at that time. I don't go and like, or if I'm like cleaning the house, I'll just like throw one on, right? But all together, out of all the podcasts that are out there, there's like Traffic and Funnels, which is really good. I really like Get Clients on Demand, where Russ Ruffino talks about like all his client case studies. That's basically it. I did start listening to Entrepreneur on Fire and then Smart Passive Income. Those were the two. And actually, when I was working at like Frito-Lay, just as the material handler, I was tossing, bags and boxes of Cheetos and Fritos inside of these 53-foot, these huge trucks, right? And during those times, I was trying to improve myself, just learn as much as I can. And I still remember the first time I heard the word like CTR or click-through rate, and I'm like, what the frick is that? So I just kept learning, right? But it was these two podcasts that like literally as soon as I heard that these people were making not 6 figures per year, but they were making 6 figures per month and even 7 figures per day from some of these people, I was just like, holy crap. And I've just been obsessed ever since. So those for like my foundational ones. And then obviously for, the improving of everything, like those two, I guess. So it's kind of hard to answer that question, I guess.
No, man, it's all good. I think that's an awesome little story. That's how you educated yourself. I actually educated myself the same way.
Yeah.
When I got into online marketing, it was just, the guy was like, go figure it out, dude. And I was like, oh, freak. So I started listening to podcasts, started jumping on YouTube, and I think it's cool that that's how we're developing is, self-educating. So
right. Yeah, for sure.
I think that's awesome, man. So favorite online marketing tool?
ClickFunnels.
ClickFunnels.
Yep.
I've heard lots of good things about it.
Are you not using it?
I've used it sometimes in some cases, and other cases I use just WordPress with the Divi theme. But
yep, you will experience some enlightened times, my friend, here in the near future.
So I can I'm actually looking at testing it as well. So
okay.
You converted me.
Cool.
What advice would you give every marketer in the world? From a starter to someone that's advanced.
This is a great question. Like, I mean, it sounds kind of cliche. I mean, everyone talks about this, right? But like, what literally advice I would give every single marketer is just don't give up. Like a lot of people, and I think it's just people in general, but they just stop too quickly. They just like get a boo-boo on their toe and they're like, I give up. But no, like you really have to like put your nose to the grindstone and push forward and make things happen until they work, and you will achieve a great amount of success. Like just because it didn't work that one time, it doesn't mean it doesn't work, period. It doesn't mean it doesn't work. It won't work ever. You just need to pivot. Like you are literally 1% like of a degree off of what you are literally doing right now, and you already know what you're supposed to be doing. You have had those thoughts, exactly what you need to do. You just need to go overcome yourself. You just need to push forward and learn how to pivot and make those small degrees to keep going forward. Because think about it, when you're driving a car, there's no such thing as like a straight path. I mean, you are going straight, but think about it. When you're driving, you're actually moving different degrees right and left to actually keep going straight. It's the same thing with life. You're gonna bounce off walls. You're gonna get like propelled moments in your life, but really you just have to keep pushing forward. And then I would even add to that. Every single marketer is just stop being freaking selfish. A lot of people and a lot of marketers, they are in it for themselves. Like selfish marketers will never win. Like people who actually give the most will always receive the most, but a lot of people, they're just like afraid of giving like these awesome offers or whatever. But like my main thing is stop being so selfish in your marketing and talk with your potential audience, talk with your potential customers, because then you will actually skyrocket. People will see you as an authority in your industry, and then you will absolutely crush out results for yourself. But more importantly, again, you will crush out results for your audience.
Awesome, man. I really like that. Give more. That's what I say.
Yes, give more. Gosh.
So last one, man, this is kind of your sales pitch. Like what kind of advice would you give someone that's online, like a company as a whole?
Okay, so just advice. I know for a fact that there are a lot of companies out there who are doing good things, but just know that there are better things that you can be doing and that you should be applying right now. And again, I always tell this to like all my students, all my clients, all my et cetera. Literally, marketing right now is probably 10 to 20 years ahead of current business states, meaning what is happening in marketing right now, like businesses will start to catch on 10 to 20 years from now. And things are always just evolving quickly. So you really need to start hopping on the fence when it comes down to what is working right now and just apply it. Because things are only changing, and those who do not adapt to the market will become the next Sears. They'll become the next Toys R Us, etc. And that's just point blank. That's just really how it is, to speak quite honestly.
I don't think there's a problem with honesty at all.
Boom. Neither do I, and that's why I said
mic drop by Tucker.
I don't really want to drop my mic because then it'll make a loud noise, and I'm sure you don't want to edit that later.
Yeah, but thanks, man. That's great advice. So, man, thanks for being on the show. You really brought a lot of value for this audience, so I really appreciate your time, and peace. And that's the end of episode number 6. Wow, what a lot of great information that Tucker shared with us about Facebook ads, his little 5-step Facebook ad formula. Go out there, follow it, apply it. It's just going to help you guys get more results. I promise you guys that. I believe in what he shared. If you're looking for Tucker, need to get in contact with him, you can find him at tuckerferwerda.com. That's TuckerFerwerda.com. He does consulting, coaching. He has training programs. So if you need him, you can get in contact with him there. And I hope you guys enjoyed this episode. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out to me at taylortimothy.com. And peace.